DeGeorge and DeGeorge Family Law. They have offices in Flemington and in Morristown. Rosanne is one of only 150 attorneys in the state that has been certified by the New Jersey Supreme Court as a matrimonial law attorney. I think that's only like 1% of all divorce attorneys, so that's very great accreditation. Her firm, they pride themselves on settling 99% of their cases, and Ms. DeGeorge was named to the New Jersey Super Lawyers list from 2015 through 2018. Her firm was named one of the top 500 fastest growing law firms in the U.S. And Ms. DeGeorge was nominated for NJBiz 50 Best Women in Business, and also as a top 25 leading woman entrepreneur. And if that's not enough, she's authored 2 books. One is Breakthrough Results, and the other is Divorce, the Answers You Need Before, During, and After. And I see some copies on the table. Please welcome Rosanne DeGeorge.
Stand over here so you can see me, because I don't think I can see over the podium. I am Rosanne DeGeorge. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak to you today. I'm very grateful. So let's get started. I thought before I tell you my 5 tips that I would recommend to you if I were thinking about divorce, or you were thinking about divorce, I want to tell you a little bit about me and my firm and how we're different. And the first thing I want to show you is this slide right here. There's 41,000 lawyers in the state of New Jersey. That is not made-up statistics. That is accurate. There are 41,000 licensed attorneys in the state of New Jersey. But what's interesting about that is there's 150 of them only that have a very special designation, and it's called a matrimonial law certification. And I happen to be one of those 150 lawyers. I had to go through a lot to get that specialty certification, and it means I am an expert in helping you exit from your unhappy marriage. And I had to go through quite a bit of effort to get that specialty certification. Now, most people think divorce is about conflict and fighting. And if I have to put my boxing gloves on for you, I'm not afraid to do that. But in reality, when you work with me and my firm, you will have the benefit of working with a team that settles 99% of all the cases we take without going to court, which means we're very good at negotiating settlements and bringing people together. Now, how we've been able to do that is by shifting the paradigm of how divorce is done. From this, adults behaving badly with one another, to this, which I call cooperative and fair resolution. And the biggest reason why we've been able to achieve that, you may be wondering how, is because of these people. Me and my team, Erin DeGeorge, Luther Jones, and Caitlin Toker, we bring together 60 years of our combined experience, and we have creative solutions in our toolbox for every legal situation that you can imagine in a family law context. So that's enough about me. I want to tell you now the 5 things I would recommend you do if you were considering a divorce in your future. So, recommendation number 1, guess what it is? Consult a lawyer. You want to consult an attorney. Why? Because you need a framework for that. That is a huge decision. It's like a death. It is one of the most significant decisions you'll make in your entire life, to leave your marriage. You need a strategy. You need to understand the process. It needs to be demystified. You want to consult an attorney, and you want to do that early on, even if you just meet with them once. You don't have to retain them. Get that framework in place, get some knowledge, do that first. The second thing I would recommend that you do is gather information. We can help you do that. We have our ways. We will educate you and train you how to collect information, especially if you don't have access to information. We have our tricks up our sleeves about how to get information, how to snoop. But if you don't need to snoop, just go and get all your stuff together. Your tax returns, your statements, your bank account statements, your asset and liability information all together. That's going to make the process really efficient for you and your lawyer, and it's going to save you a lot of money if your lawyer doesn't have to do that for you. The third thing I recommend you do if you're considering divorce is create a budget. Now, that may sound scary to some of you. Most people I know do not have a budget at home. Many of us live from paycheck to paycheck. We can help you create a budget. You don't have to go it alone, but if this is the time, if you're considering divorce, this is the perfect opportunity for you to start to think about how much it is you need to live, what is exactly your marital lifestyle. You're going to want to know that, your lawyer is going to want to know that, so that they can help you get the right amount of support coming in to approximate that lifestyle in your future. So that's something you definitely want to start to think about if this is something you're considering. The fourth recommendation I have for you is develop a support network. Many of my clients tell me how sensitive and warm and fuzzy I am, and I'm grateful that that is the feedback that I've gotten. And I think it's made me a very good advocate, and it's made me good at helping people achieve closure through this process and good at what I do. But you're going to need more than me. You're going to need others around you in your corner to talk through this process with. It's an emotional, challenging situation, and so I urge anyone thinking about divorce to get that support network in place, whether it's your friends, your family, a spiritual advisor, or someone, even a professional therapist on your team. And lastly, what I would say to you is learn to understand what a good settlement looks like. I'm one of 7 children. I'm the 6th child out of 7. My dad called me Rosie. Some of my old friends call me Rosie too. And he would say to me, I was the only child that went to college, Rosie, did you win in court today? I'd say, Dad, nobody wins in divorce. Everyone loses. My friend in the back there when I came in said the only person who wins is the lawyer. Well, that may be true, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. The point is that the best settlements in a divorce are the ones where both parties leave the settlement table equally unhappy. Nobody's dancing a jig as they leave the courthouse. It's a lose-lose game for everyone involved. The question is, how are you going to move through the process and who's going to be on your team? Now, those are my 5 tips, but I want to just give you real quick, I only have a couple more minutes, the risks of not getting a specialist. Risk number 1, when you don't have a lawyer that knows what they're doing, or doesn't know family law, doesn't have that specialty certification, they're not efficient at what they're doing, and that's going to cost you money, because they don't know the law. And divorce is complicated. It takes into account not just issues relating to money, but real estate, businesses, laws regarding retirement accounts, health benefits, life insurance. All of these things are brought to bear in any divorce. So you want to get somebody that knows what they're talking about and knows the law. Risk number 2, if you don't hire a specialist, mistakes are going to be made, and sometimes they're irreversible. If I had a nickel for every case I took after the fact that I was hired to fix, I would have a lot of nickels. You want to hire a specialist to make sure that all the I's are dotted properly and the T's are crossed. The third risk of not getting a specialist is that your rights can be compromised, and I mean that. That does happen. You can lose things that you're entitled to, and you can give more than you have to if you don't have someone on your team that knows what they're doing. The fourth risk is that your stress increases. We know divorce is a stressful experience. Do you want it to be more stressful because you don't have faith and confidence in your attorney? No, you want this process to go as smoothly as possible. We take that factor down a few notches for you. We help you understand the process in constant communication with you so you know what's happening at any given time. And lastly, if you don't hire a specialist, you can be sure your divorce will take longer. That may sound counterintuitive, but it's not. When I have a lawyer that does that I don't know on the other side of a case, I'm concerned because I know that it's going to be more difficult to settle that case because they're going to be intimidated by the process. The lawyer will be intimidated by the process because they don't know what they're doing. So those are my 5 tips, my 5 risks to avoid. So if you're thinking about divorce or you know somebody who is, do not go and hire one of these lawyers. You want to make sure that you hire one of the 150 that have a very special certification called the matrimonial law certification. And hopefully that one is me. And you too will be assured of being in that 99%. So I thank you for your time today. There's lots of free information on my website, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.